Thanks for tuning in and joining us this week. We missed you guys last week here at the Spill. We had some inclement weather and we got about almost 10 inches, so we don't meet if it ain't safe.
Yeah, we actually running up on some tonight. There's a winter advisor this evening, but hey, whatever.
It is what it is. We're going to work through it.
So this is a week, honey, hair need to be done.
We
and,
are in between salon visits.
But whatever. This is real right here.
That's right.
Well, really, it's always real, but
it's always real. We always
whatever.
feeling my job.
I done already had a couple of drinks, and I'm feeling good.
Exactly. So you know the conversation's going to be good tonight. What are we talking about?
Yeah, if I'm slurring or anything, just go ahead and ignore that.
Just read in between the lines. Y'all know what she meant to say.
So the topic tonight, we're going to talk about motherhood because both of us have different experiences in motherhood, and we're just going to kind of talk about that, and hopefully it can resonate to some people out there and you can take some lessons from it.
All right. So when did you first become a mom?
So I was a teen mom. My oldest is 22.
Girl, you look good for having a 22-year-old.
And so I had him when I was 18, and that was kind of difficult, in the 90s or whatever. It's not as normalized as it wasn't as normalized as it is now.
Sure.
And so when I first found out I was pregnant, I was pretty embarrassed.
Were you?
I was.
Even being 18, like you're.
I was 17.
Okay.
But I didn't have him until
you were 18.
I was 18.
Okay.
So I was still going to school, walking down halls with everyone else, and I was just embarrassed about it. It wasn't nothing that I was expecting to go through. My dreams was to go to college to be a pediatrician, and I was gonna move to LA.
Right.
Because
big city dreams.
Right. Because not only that, I wanted to be in some acting and things like that.
Okay.
But life happens, and I became a teen mom. I did finish school. I got over the embarrassment, but I finished school on time. I had him on winter break.
Okay, so you planned that pretty good.
No, I didn't plan it at all. But
maybe the timing.
The timing was perfect. It happened good.
That worked.
So I still graduated on time with my class and worked, and I had the support system of my mom and my grandmother because I still stayed at home. So
you think that was really important to your success, the support that you had within your family? And
very important.
Were they behind you with continuing school, or what were their thoughts when you kind of told them?
Well, I didn't tell them.
Wait a minute, what?
I wasn't gonna tell it. No, my mama didn't play them games. I was scared.
Yeah.
But she found out. I won't tell the story how she found out, but she found out, and she was like, "Hey, you're gonna have to do what you got to do." And at first, I was like, she's trying to make me fail.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the point that she was trying to, I think, teach me at the time. And I think she kind of knew what was best.
Right.
In hindsight now. But at that time, I was just like, oh my God, my life is ruined. But it wasn't.
So that's good. So for me, I became a mom when I was 22. I had my son, and I wasn't married. So to me, I was a single mom. I had the support. I had the help, My kid's father, he was there through the whole entire experience. So I did have that support. And in comparison to some of my friends who did have kids in high school, I waited a lot later. Mm-hmm. So I just told my mom straight out, she wasn't the happiest because I was unmarried. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at that time, it was something that we could work through. I had graduated high school and I was in college already. So,
right.
Do you feel like there were a lot more obstacles with you being a younger mom, or things that you had to sacrifice, do you feel like?
That's the thing. With the support system that I had at that time, which was my mom and grandmother.
You were able to find a balance.
My grandmother was retired by the end, so she was at home most of the time. And so she allowed me to continue to be, I was a child.
Right.
be, continue to grow. I still worked. I still, I didn't get on any kind of assistance or anything, any of those things. But yeah, I still lived my life, provided for my son, worked my way up through life, and it didn't hinder me from anything. I went to college, even though, I went to KCK and basically just didn't do great at that because I was playing.
Right.
I'm a kid.
Sometimes you don't have your focus.
No, I didn't have any focus.
I didn't have the focus.
No.
Yeah.
But I was determined to finish. So over the years, I have completed, got my degree, this and that and the other, because I wanted to be an example for my older son who's currently in college and things like that. But yes, my grandmother and my mother, mostly my grandmother, allowed me to continue to do what I need to do as far as growing. And they set the tone and the path of motherhood for me to show me, basically they mothered me.
Right. They gave you a strong example, while supporting you and allowing you to continue to grow on your own. So,
but I also think it helped me a lot in maturing, even though I am very goal driven. I believe since I had someone else to take care of, that it made me more driven.
Right. To succeed and to motivate you to do what you had to do when you didn't feel like it.
Yeah. I did a lot of responsible things that I probably wouldn't have done. I bought my first home when I was 23 years old. So,
oh wow.
I mean, how many kids are actually, and that's
grounded
what drove
enough
me.
or stable enough. When I think about when we bought our house and all the paperwork that they wanted and all the process that you had to go through. At 23, being a single mom, I couldn't imagine that. So I commend you for that, because girl, that was the process as adult.
Yeah, and you don't think about those things as you're going through it. I mean, we're going through stuff right now in life that you really don't celebrate within that time that it needs to be celebrated.
It's just more so you recognize that it's necessary in the process to get where you have to go
within the moment.
Right, and I can agree because I can attest to that too. Like for me, God knew what he was doing. God said, sit your butt down. You about to have you about to have a baby, and then a couple years later have a couple more, because it did provide the foundation for me to be grounded. You know what I mean? At the time, my baby's father, who's my husband, he was in the streets, so he was getting money. Girl, the first chance I didn't like what they was talking about at work,
I quit.
I don't have to deal with this shit. My baby got some money. I ain't deal with this shit. I'm out of here. He was like, babe, you quit your job? Yeah, they wasn't talking about nothing. So I do appreciate that it gave me that focus, and it gave me the chance to really become goal-oriented and to strive towards something better for myself, as opposed to just being out here selfishly doing what I wanted to do and pursuing my own personal goals. So
yeah, that's true.
It provided the basis.
And I basically waited, because I was a single mother, I knew exactly what that came with. I wasn't planning on having any more kids unless I was married.
Right.
And so he was 16 when I got pregnant with my youngest, me and my husband at the time, because my husband's been in my my older son life. I met him when my son was 6 months, but we developed a friendship, and then once we started dating, so he basically, that's who my son sees as his pops.
As his pops.
Yeah. They have a bond. He showed him how to, he nurtured him as a young man, and he's a good kid. But he also was around a lot of older people because he had my grandmother, my mother, his grandpa, so it was a lot of older people that was helping me with nurturing him into the young man he is today.
And that really has an impact.
It
has
does.
a really big impact because just like your son, my grandmother, she was retired. My mom, they really helped with my son, so we didn't baby talk to him. He learned full adult sentences, and when he learned how to talk, it wasn't a lot of gibberish. You know what I mean? He could hold adult conversations. People are always
and
like,
he can now. Sometimes I'll be like,
people are always like, he's been here before. You're talking to a little old man. man, a little
talking
12-year-old old man.
He talking everything.
And he will debate with you.
Oh, yes.
He will. He's very strong in his opinions. So I think, they say it takes a village, and I really feel like
it really does.
Everybody really contributed to
it really does.
my kids and their growth and where they are now.
And I feel like we're losing that. These generations are losing the village mindset of raising kids. You see a lot of people, I see it on Facebook, those kind of things. So, better not nobody say anything to my kids. They better not check. No, if your kid out here messing up, they need to be checked. If a child, if I'm down the street playing and I act up in Miss Jackson's yard, Miss Jackson is checking my ass.
That's right.
And then she gonna call my mama
and tell her what you
I should say Miss Reed, because Miss Reed was around the corner. She checking my ass, and then she calling my mama when mama get off of work, and I'm gonna get my ass whooped.
Right. It's not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore.
Hey, if somebody see my son acting up, they better check him, because I'm checking your kid.
Right.
And we can just deal with it later. I'm serious.
Deal with it later.
I've checked plenty of kids out now,
but
I'm not going to be disrespectful and
course.
just be mean to the kid. But as a mother,
parent, my kids know how to act when I'm with you, when my eyes is on you, when I'm not around you. So that expectation is there. If you out of line, there will be consequences. If somebody else catch you and they have to bring it back to me that you wasn't doing what you was supposed to do, it's gonna be trouble. You hear me? I don't play that about the kids.
I just don't think. I think that people should lose that whole.
But in the same sense, it kind of depends on who it is.
Well,
you feel like that?
It's about a respectable way. Like you can't just be
condescending.
And
you know what I mean?
And just mean and honoring.
Exactly.
And you ain't about to just beat my kid.
Right.
Like, you can check a kid without putting your hands on them.
Right.
Even with your eyes.
Right.
Like, I've done school functions helping in the classroom, and I can be like, hey, sit down. When they acting up.
That's enough.
And they look at you and they like, oh, she ain't playing.
She's not playing. My teacher's not here, but she's not playing. That's correct.
And they go ahead and sit down. That's why these kids are acting up in school. And all these fights that we see at these high school, watch all the...
Get your kids.
Not only that, some of these mothers, and I was a teen mom.
Right.
So I was growing up as I'm raising a kid. So I'm not saying that I did everything perfect, but what I did not do is try to party with my kid or put partying over over my child.
You see that a lot, and then it's the neighborhood, people on the corner, they raising your kid. They're the ones that's giving them any type of guidance or support that they receive, and that's what they're gonna flock to. Or
you can't have the streets raising
your
kid.
You can't, because it doesn't end well. The streets doesn't play fair. Not at all. That's not where you want your children or anybody for that matter that you care about.
That's right. And so I've been blessed to have a son who grew up and went to college and never been arrested, never been in any kind of trouble.
That's
very respectful.
Yeah.
And so I'm very proud of him on his accomplishments, what he's done, where he's headed. And you just continue to pray for your kids and pray over them, even though they're not at home. And for the mothers that have new graduates coming out and they'll be heading out to college, I know the stress. Because even though I didn't cry in front of my son, I was in the car and cried when I dropped him off. I didn't want him to see me cry.
Girl, my kids know I'm sensitive. I didn't cry in front of him. It'd be a sad part on the movie.
I was
they
like, I ain't gonna cry in front of him. I sat in that car, and I just cried. Girl, I was so proud.
I cried at kindergarten. I cried. When I dropped him off at kindergarten, I was crying. When it comes to sentimental type stuff, they know I'm gonna cry probably.
Yeah. So, but it was more of a moment for me and him. Me as being his mother and just thinking,
we did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
I'm sure it had to feel like a sense of accomplishment. You know what I mean?
It was.
In the beginning, like you said, your initial emotions, and then to grow. You and him grew together.
We grew together.
You know what I mean? And for him to be at this point and looking back, I'm sure it had to be a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, and there are some things that I couldn't provide for him that I'm sure my younger son will probably get, because I am older and he do have two parents in the house.
Right.
So sometimes I feel bad about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh man, I never got a chance to do this with him. I remember rushing to Disney when he was 16 because I was like, I never took him. I need to take him down.
You got to get that out the way.
So it was something that I always wanted to do, but I wasn't able to. And when the time permitted itself where I was able to take him,
you did.
I did.
I mean, the first time I went to Disney, I was 16. And when I felt like I was 4 years old going in there, riding on the ferry.
That was my first time.
Right. I was excited. Like, I really felt like a little kid, so.
So, even though you was a single mother, and then after you guys got married, you always had that support. Do you have anyone around you other than me that's a single parent? Do you see the differences in that, or
just with my just collective group of friends that I've had over the years? There's varying situations. Some have different children with different fathers, and they're raising all of their children together, what I mean? And so they've taken on that role of mom and dad, and now they're happy in their current situations, married or whatever, and then there's other situations where I know single dads that's holding it down, what I mean? So it's a balance of both, and I really commend people for standing up and sticking with the process. Like, it's not easy. There's not a manual on raising kids. When I have a rough moment, I talk to my kids. Hey, this is what you have to do, because believe it or not, you're teaching them and preparing them for how they're going to deal with things in the future and going forward. So I try, if I'm going through something, I let them know, like, hey, this is a tough time. This is where I'm at, but it's not going to define where I'm going. And I'm just going to continue to be strong and move forward. So when you say, oh, I had to be example, I went back and I completed my degree. That was important. You know what I mean? Those type of things, your kids see that, and I want to be about my word. Just like
now, this is important. Get your butt in that room and sit down.
He's so cute. He's so cute. He's so darn cute.
He's been running around here just...
I saw your eyes drifting. You wanted to get him.
I'm sorry.
So...
But yeah, that was important for me, because my goal was to finish my degree before he got to college and did his. That was just a goal that I had for myself.
Right.
And I accomplished that goal, and I was proud of myself, and I believe he was proud of me too.
He was. I'm sure he was. So do you feel like there's any big challenges that you face in being a mom? What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome, you feel like?
As a single, because with my youngest now, with my husband, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
But as a single mother, I think the challenge was the fact that my oldest son would ask questions about why his dad wasn't here and this and that, and that wasn't my choice.
Right.
And there was nothing I could do about that. And I would cry sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I felt like there's nothing that I can do
to make this person
to make it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the weirdest thing. He has that relationship with his grandfather, which is his dad's father. I mean, he knows his dad. He sees him. He talks to him. He also has some siblings from his dad that they have a relationship, but he does not have that bond with his dad that he has with my husband.
Right.
Which he calls his pop. So he has that bond with my husband. And I'm just thankful for my husband, because it takes a strong person to raise someone else's kids.
It does.
To just step up to the plate. It was like you chose them. It wasn't that I birthed you and I didn't have a choice. That child was chosen by your significant other.
Right.
Because he didn't have to stay with you, with me. I was just talking. But he didn't have to take on my family, my maid family,
right,
and take on that responsibility. He could have kept moving and went to some other girl that didn't have any kids, but he chose us.
And I feel like it's important that as a step parent, because I'm a stepmother, but I feel like if the person that you're with doesn't love your kids the way that you love them, it'll never work, you know?
Yeah.
And initially at first, you know, I never imagined what it would feel like or how that feeling would be, because when I was pregnant with my second child, I was guilty, like, oh my goodness, how am I going to love this baby more than I love the first baby, you know? So just not being in that situation, you really don't know what to expect. But with I call her my bonus daughter, my daughter.
Hell, I can't tell no difference.
You can't tell, because I literally have been there since day one.
Yeah.
I've got memories and videos and pictures of me rocking her to sleep, and I'm pregnant and she's got her hand on my belly. You know, we've just developed that bond and relationship to where we'll go places now and, oh, you act just like your mom, and we just both kind of smile and look to ourselves like, y'all don't even know. But
right.
It's just cute. We just laugh to ourselves. But initially you just wouldn't think that you could love somebody, you know what I mean, that you didn't necessarily birth yourself, but you really can. And it's a really genuine feeling, you know what I mean? And to see them all grow up together and to see how much you can have an impact on someone else's life and how they respond to you, knowing that you're not their birth parent. I mean, to me, it's a good feeling. I enjoy that relationship that we have. So.
And you guys, I mean, being in your house, you wouldn't be able to tell.
They don't miss a beat. They all always together. Everybody
there.
acts the same.
She lives there.
Yeah.
You've raised her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I look, I'm like, I don't see stepmama.
No.
I just see mama daughter.
Right.
In that bond.
Right.
That's it.
And I don't differentiate anything. You know what I mean? As far as anybody else is concerned, that they're all my children.
I didn't even know she was.
So many people have told me that, or they'll be like, your girls look just like you. Are they twins?
She really does.
Are they twins?
And she really does.
It's
kind
just
of look
funny.
like you.
It's
kind of like when you raising somebody, they get something from you. Whether it's your personality, it's kind of like when you dating somebody and they start saying, "Oh, y'all look like brothers and sisters," because y'all been around each other so much. It's just kind of like a thing,
that
I guess.
natural connection that you guys have. But it's natural, and I really, the relationship that we have, it really is something special. So.
It is. It's really cute.
Yeah.
So, I think since I've had both experiences, I really appreciate, and I don't understand when I see mothers of children trying to keep the other parent away or just giving the other parent a hard time. Whether your relationship worked or not, it ain't about you.
Never.
It's about the kid. And I don't think I'll ever understand that. And I think some of the people who do that are women or men, whoever got the kid,
right?
That has not had to deal with that alone.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard.
That, and I feel like I've seen the situation on both sides. Like I said, you know, lots of friends and associates, you know, work colleagues and stuff like that over the years. And then even in our own situation, you know, you just see it from different angles. So, I mean, it seems like overall when there's still some type of feeling involved, whether it's resentment, whether it's some type of temporary hatred or, you know, just bitterness, that's when you start to see that people kind of want to use their kid as a pawn or use their kid as a condition of getting money or a condition of, you know what I mean, weekend visits or time with your child.
I just think it's silly.
It is.
And men out there, and another thing that I absolutely hate is the fact that the system has got it to where some of these men pay all this child support, then come out, the kid ain't theirs, and they don't get their money back.
Yeah, that's scandalous.
That's some jacked up
that's
stuff.
That's messed up. And for my son, if it ever came to it, honey, we getting that test from day one. Day one at the hospital, baby, because we're not playing them games. So we not.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
I think as the way that things are set up now, if you don't have anything to hide, why wouldn't you do a blood test?
Right.
Now, I might be mad at you
Right.
because I felt like you didn't trust me. But at the end of the day, if a man want to feel secure in knowing that I am the father of this child, not creating a bond with somebody
Right.
and then later on finding out it ain't your
It's
child.
not your child.
I think that's messed up.
It is, and all that happens is, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean that there was a strong possibility. What could you even say? You can't get this man back his 18 years worth of child support
Or the bond.
right?
It's
That
like,
either.
That's a done deal.
It is.
Unless he just a raggedy daddy.
Girl.
Just
Whether
like-
it was intentional or not, I don't feel like it's anything wrong with asking for a DNA test. It's gonna be
I would
some
want
feelings,
one for
but-
my grandkids.
Right? You know
I
how to
don't
say
care
it.
how long y'all been together.
Girl,
I'm just gonna go to CVS and swab
the baby
mouth.
out. Girl, I'm gonna be
dirty.
like, hey, when it comes to my son, we not about to play them type of games because I don't have time for it. We not paying for nothing extra.
So we would like to hear anything from your experiences as a mother, as a father, single, married.
Yeah, and one thing I did want to talk about too, since we're on the subject of parents, one thing that really motivated us and even my decision making in having kids was the way that I was raised. And I grew up like my dad, he was in jail for when I was younger. And then when he did come home, he was home for a few years, and then my parents got divorced. So that was always the inspiration for me to, okay, whoever I have kids with, I want to make sure it's somebody that's going to be long-term and somebody that I could see myself with. It was never intentional to be temporary, because now, I mean, I don't have a relationship with my dad. Mm-hmm. And as a grown woman, it doesn't affect me. But as I was growing up and he wasn't there, I couldn't ever understand and reason why.
There is no understanding.
There's not, but being young and naive, you always want to attribute it to something that you did or you didn't do, or something that you could have done better. Yeah, it makes you reflect inward a lot, and I really do feel like you kind of pick someone who kind of resembles your father. My dad's name starts with a T. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. He's dark skinned. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Only thing is he shows up and handles his business for his kids.
He really does.
Wakes up to his family every single day. Coaches, all that stuff. So
I remember when we went out of town, and I said, because I grew up with her husband, my best friend is her sister-in-law, and so he was like my kid, like 7, 6, whatever. So I seen him grow up, but I remember just saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." He probably came back to the room like, that damn Kendra was tripping. But I was like, you're such a great husband and a good dad. Look at you. But I guess that comes from knowing him
right
as a kid. Mm-hmm. Not saying that he wouldn't have been that, but when you
just
see
someone
him in that
blossom
into something else, I mean, not something else, but into this grown man. And I'm like, you grown now.
Right.
You have been grown. But it was like, oh, you can hang with us.
Right. You doing grown man stuff. I had to mess with him. I said, see, I'm the reason why you get to go on trips now. He was like, no, that was all me.
But yeah, I love them. He it's so cute. It's so cute. And he probably just be looking at us like, oh my goodness.
No, he know. He know what time it is. You already know.
But yeah, that he does an amazing job. And it's a blessing to have a great husband, a great father for your children on your side.
Right.
We're both blessed to have that. And I've dealt with not having that for my son and to...
So on a side note, I'm going to just skip right to it. Is the baby factory closed?
Oh, yeah. No, I ain't having no more kids.
You
Matter
said that
fact,
very quick.
Both of my kids.
You said that quick.
The youngest and the old one talking about, oh, Mama, you can have another one.
A little Kendriana or something.
I don't want a girl.
No?
Girl, no. I ain't doing no hair.
Right.
I'm not doing all that.
I get up about 6
stuff.
to do hair and
go get your hair cut.
Yes.
All I'm doing is brushing.
No, it's all the emotions and their friends and yes.
No.
Yes. I have 2 daughters that are Leos and they keep me very busy.
No, so do you want another one?
I don't know. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm opposed.
I mean, I'm stable in my marriage. I'm stable where I'm at as far as, you know, we just bought a home and the things that we're doing collectively. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. It just would kind of interrupt my travel schedule a little bit. But
that's why I ain't having one.
other than that, you know, I wouldn't say no, I guess.
My kid said I'm selfish, and that could be true. Because you can always get rid of one, but it's hard to get rid of two.
It sure is.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Saying, you know, nope, I'm done. I'm just waiting to be a grandmother at this point.
Right,
it's
right.
Like, no.
Well, you know, your oldest is 22, so that might even be sooner for you.
Yeah, I'm not about to be having a baby with my kids having kids.
It's common out here now.
I don't care.
Well, I'm gonna keep hope alive. I won't say that I won't. I won't say that I am. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, we'll wait and see.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and following us and liking and subscribing to our channel. We are just a couple subscriptions away from 100. So
Yay!
please keep tuning in. We are taking all of you guys' suggestions and advice for topics. Remember, you can still email us at thespillinquiries@gmail.com, or, you know, you can connect with us on Instagram. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.